Okay.
Sir, can we? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We need your permission, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So, sir, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. You have been the part of 20 successful programs on NEP. This is the 21st online Malviya Mission teacher training program on NEP 2020, orientation and sensitization. And this is the 5th day. This is second session. Sir, about participants, I would like to acknowledge the fact that they are very sincere, dedicated, very committed teachers of higher education. They are assistant professors, associate professors, lecturers working in different colleges and universities of India. Some of them are from our own university, Malappuram Center, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. And sir, most of the time they are on mute mode. As and when you will ask them, then only they will open their cameras and mics, sir. So, and they are very interactive. They are responding to the questions of resource persons. They are asking questions. It's good, sir. Now, participants, we have with us a very senior teacher of Aligarh Muslim University, Professor Masroor Alam, sir. Professor Masroor Alam, sir, does not need any introduction. In Aligarh Muslim University, he is famous for his research, for his honesty, for his humanity. Professor Muhammad Masroor Alam, sir, who is working as professor in Civil Engineering Department of Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. He has completed his BSc, MSc, MPhil, PhD in geology from AMU, Aligarh itself. His specialization is in sedimentology, petroleum geology, engineering geology, rock engineering, environmental geology, natural disaster studies, etc. Sir has qualified GRF in 1990, joined the department in 1996. So he's having the more than 3 decades experience in the teaching and learning and administration. Sir has published books in his field. One of the books sir has written is Fundamental of Engineering, Geology and Geoengineering in 2013. Sir has, apart from this book, sir has edited few books also on disaster management and on advances in geotechnical engineering. Sir has contributed generously or for EPG Pathshala under UGC's project, written 9 chapters on engineering geology. Sir has published more than 50 research papers in various national and international journals of repute. Sir has also presented around 40 research papers in various seminars and conferences. He is the member of Indian Geotechnical Society, Indian Science Congress, regularly delivered talk as a resource person in orientation, refresher courses, FDPs, etc. More than 35 talks he has given, and this is old data. I'm sure that this number must have increased. Sir has supervised many MTech dissertation. Sir has also supervised many PhDs successfully. Sir has completed many research projects of lakhs of rupees. Sir has been on many administrative positions and has successfully shouldered many administrative responsibilities, like he has been the Joint Director, Center for Promotion of Science, Nodal Officer, NIRF for Engineering College since 2020, Member Grievance Cell Engineering College, Departmental Coordinator for BTech program, Coordinator NSS from 17 to 20. When I was at that time, I was also working with him as one of his program officers and have learned a lot from his dynamic leadership. Sir has also been the coordinator of Atal FDP on underground space utilization, member of other many academic bodies like member of AMU Code, member of Academic Council, one of the principal academic bodies of Aligarh Muslim University AMU. Many awards are to his credit. One of the awards is a special prize for sweep in 2019 given by Chief Election Commissioner of Uttar Pradesh. We are very happy, sir, that you are once again here. A very good teacher you are, as already we know, and now participants will come to know about it. With these words, I would like to invite Professor Masroor Alam, sir, to talk on climate change, pollution, waste management, and biodiversity conservation. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Shakir Saab, for introducing me, and welcome all the participants. Most of you are assistant professors or associate professors. I have been into same fold some, what you can say, some 15 years back or 10 years back. I have also completed the orientation course and refresher course and induction training program and so on and so forth. But they were used to be offline. We had much more chances of interaction. But nowadays, everything is going online. In that, the real interaction is somewhat restricted. Mostly, it used to be one-way traffic. Before starting the talk, I have put a few questions. You can answer them just to understand that what you perceive about the issue for which this lecture is being organized. I don't know, from the list which I have seen, people are from almost all the different places in India. There are few participants, 2 or 3 from Tetso College. Where that college is? Tetso College. If the participant is from that college is
It's
here,
from Nagaland.
it's from Nagaland. Very good. That means
Yes.
from northeast.
Yes,
Very
yes.
good. Very far away point. And that is in this, even in this online mode, we can interact with people far away from this place. Another important thing, that this list which I have got does not mention the subject area of yours.
Oh,
They
we're
give everything
psychology department.
except subject area. If the subject area is there, then it will be much better. I will ask for the next time that they should also write the subject area, so that I know that which subject most of the participants are from. So I have put these questions. If you can take a screenshot of this, or if you can have photo of this, so that you can answer while I am giving you this lecture. You can answer like this. You see, one of the participant has given answer like this. You can write only Y for yes and N for no, and whatever you want. Till now, I have not received any message in the message box. No answer yet. Okay, no issue. Take your time and try to answer them.
So please show previous slides, sir.
I am again showing the previous slide. Time is not much to write down all these questions. So if you can have a picture and then you can answer them, then it will be good. It is just to know that how much you feel about the issue for which we are going to have this discussion. Okay. Now, you can answer like this. Let's come to the title page. I'll be speaking on issue of climate change, pollution, waste management, and biodiversity. All these issues are related to our Earth, and the Earth is the only home for human beings, and in fact, it is the only home for all the life forms. For all the life forms. In the new education policy, the emphasis has been given to learn about environment and nature and disaster in your undergraduate level. So all undergraduate course, they have 1 or 2 course about environmental sciences and also disaster management. Now I will be speaking from my own knowledge, which I have got by reading books, by reading articles, but mostly I'll be presenting you through what I get from the newspapers. What I get? the material from newspapers. So in my slides, you will find a lot of newspaper cuttings. I'm not going to deal from any specific book or books or very high profile research papers. Rather, I am going to connect with you through daily newspapers, news which used to come every other day about the issue of climate change, pollution, and waste generation, and environmental degradation, etc., etc. Now the light has gone, the electricity has gone, and now I have to shift on inverter. So this is again a very important issue of electricity. We have become slave of electricity. If there is no electricity, we are almost handicapped. Now, a very simple question, which is based on this year's weather and climate. For all of you, there is another question I am going to pose. You can write answer in yes and no, and take this question to be question number 11. Question number 11, just I am verbally asking that, do you feel that this time, this year, weather was somewhat different? Do you feel that this year the weather was little bit different as compared to your own previous years? Was or is? This is a question I have written in the message box also. This is an extra question for you. Just on your own experience, if you can tell me that, have you felt somewhat different weather, temperature, rain, or coldness this year as compared to your previous years? Most of us, we are all 25 plus, so we have experience of at least last 10 years in our memory. Just answer that what you have felt. Now, climate change. You can see two newspaper cutting from the year 23, last year, July 23. Extreme weather in July virtually impossible without climate change. And then there is another important news heading, Europe, heat is real, not Renoir. Heat is real, not Renoir. Renoir are the paintings in which French artists and European artists used to show the sunshine. The people from Europe always wanted to have sunshine so that they can get some warmth, because they are living in temperate climate where there is a lot of cold, and cold used to be unbearable. Cold used to be unbearable. Even today, extreme cold, you cannot survive in extreme cold, but you can survive in extreme heat, but not the extreme cold. That was the reason that the weather of Europe was so bad in last century or before last century, in 18th century and 19th century, that Europeans fled away from Europe and they went all over the world and made their colonies even in very hot weather climate like Africa, India, Malaysia, Middle East, because they could not tolerate the weather, cold weather and rain and snowfall in those regions. It was only after industrialization and after invention of refrigeration, people in Europe started living comfortably in that winters. They usually they use heaters for warmth. But from last 4, 5 or 6 years, even people in Europe, they are complaining about the excessive temperature in their summer times. So that is what is called as climate change. When it was identified that there is a climate change, way back in 1896, Swedish chemist Svante Arrhenius predicted global warming. He just predicted global warming that because of the fact that we are burning lot of coal, the Europeans have found coal and they have gone for industrialization, and the burning of coal has released lot of carbon dioxide, and in 1896 itself, Svante Arrhenius has said that this burning of coal will result into global warming. In 1978, United States National Academy of Science indicated the global warming. A book was written by Rachel Carson known as Silent Spring, which was again about the pollution and climate change. Then on February 2007, this uncertainty or doubt was removed by United Nations, and they have established an organization called as International Protocol for Climate Change, IPCC, International Protocol for Climate Change. Now, climate change is now an accepted fact. It is no more a news, rather it has become an accepted fact. And the other dimension of this fact is that the cause of climate change is the activity of human beings. The cause has been ascribed to the anthropogenic activities. That is, the human beings' endeavor to develop has resulted into global climate change, and which is as such in the form of global warming. Now, this is the only planet on which life is possible. There is no other planet on which life is possible because of average temperatures of those planets are either very high or very low. For example, Mercury has average temperature of 450 degrees centigrade because it is very close to the sun. Next to Mercury is Venus, which has got average temperature of 200 degrees centigrade. Again, being close to the sun, it has got this much high temperature. The third from the sun is Earth. The distance is so much that Earth has temperature varying from plus 60 degrees centigrade to minus 60 degrees centigrade. This is a temperature suitable for different life forms. If we go beyond Earth, then we have Mars. Mars has so much of distance from the sun, being on 4th position, that the average temperature is minus 200 degrees centigrade. So that's why life is not possible there. The Earth has got life because of overall temperature range of plus 60 to minus 60 degree, plus presence of oxygen and presence of water. The water can exist in all the three forms, that is liquid, vapor and solid, and is continuously changing into these three phases depending upon the temperature of the weather or climate of a place, and it moves around the globe. So possibility of life is only because of presence of water and oxygen. Oxygen is 21%. The other gas is nitrogen, which is 78%. Now we are left with 1% in which all other gases are there, including carbon dioxide, which is less than 0.004%. That means it is having very less amount, very less amount. But even in this less amount, the slightest increase has a very profound effect on the weather and climate system of the Earth. We have our Earth, that is, which you call geosphere. It's a big sphere, and it also has many different spheres. For example, we have atmosphere, that is the topmost layer in which we have all the gases. Then we have biosphere, all the life forms, including animals and human beings and plants. Hydrosphere, all the waters, either as a liquid water in rivers and lakes and oceans, or water vapor in the atmosphere, or ice in the form of snow and glaciers. Then we have lithosphere, that is the ground on which we are living. Litho means rock. So we have a sphere of rock all around the globe of the Earth, which includes soil and different rocks. The average thickness of lithosphere is almost 200 kilometers. Below that lithosphere, we have asthenosphere, which is 800 kilometers thick. And below that, we have barysphere, which includes outer core, inner core, and outer mantle. If we divide the Earth, it can be divided into crust, mantle, and core. Crust is divided into upper crust and lower crust. Mantle is divided into upper mantle and lower mantle, and core is divided into outer core and inner core. So this is the division. Now, top 1,000 kilometers, the total radius, the depth to the center, the distance to the center of the Earth is 6,371 kilometers. Out of this 6,371 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers is lithosphere and asthenosphere. 200 lithosphere, 800 asthenosphere. Rest is barysphere. Now all these spheres, they interact with each other. All these spheres, they interact with each other and create different kinds of environment for us. Now human beings have added one sphere by their own handiwork. This sphere is called as built sphere or technological sphere. This sphere is called as built sphere or technological sphere. Now, by making this built sphere and technological sphere, we have polluted atmosphere, we have polluted biosphere, we have polluted hydrosphere, and we have degraded the lithosphere. By making built sphere, we have actually degraded all these. In fact, the two fluids which are present in hydrosphere and atmosphere, which are very essential for the life forms, they have also been changed to the global garbage bin. The climate change we are talking of is increase or decrease in average temperature or precipitation or wind direction in a particular region for a decade or so. Climate change does not mean that there is a summer, then there is a rainy season, then there is a winter season, then there is a spring season, and then again summer, rain, winter, spring. That is not climate change. Climate change within a season. Maybe winter, maybe summer, maybe rainy season, maybe spring season. What is the average temperature? Earth's climate has naturally changed since its origin 4,550 million years. The Earth got originated 4,550 million years back. Since then, the climate is continuously changing, but this change is taking place at the scales of tens of millions of years. 1 million years is equal to 10 lakh years. Those changes have taken place at the scale of tens of millions of years, but the changes we are talking of changes which we have inflicted only in last 500 years or less than 500 years. Global warming. Global warming means increase in average temperature on land as well as on the ocean surface with respect to some points in the past. We have got the record of last 150 years of direct measurement of temperature through our different scientific organizations dealing with the meteorology or dealing with the weather and climate system. We have got the direct evidences of temperature increase or decrease. But we also have some indirect evidences when there was no thermometer to measure the temperatures. By some natural process and phenomenon, we can work out what has happened in times before 200 years from the present when there was no thermometer. Now, in the newspaper, we used to hear about global warming. We used to keep on hearing about the global warming. For example, Roger Federer, when he lost a match to John Millman in 2018, he said that I could not win because of very high temperature in the arena. I am not used to do this much of high temperatures. We know if we go to some place, we know what will be the average temperature. But if at that place we have temperature beyond that, then we will have a feel of that. There is another picture, if you can see, from 2019 that in Australia, people were making omelette in the sunshine. The temperature was so high that people started making omelette in the sunshine. This year in India, in different cities, people have tried the same and they have made omelette and egg into the heat. Now, not only heat, but today we are concerned with the extreme climate, freak weather system. In Australia in 2019, the temperature was more than 35 degrees centigrade. But at the same time, during the month of February in 2019, in the United States of America, the temperature has gone below minus 30 degrees centigrade, below minus 39 degrees centigrade. The temperature was so low that jeans pants, they were kept standing. The jeans pants, they were frozen and they were standing in the ground without men or women inside it. You can see the picture. So the whole world is facing the problem of global warming, which has sometimes indirect effect. That is, for example, forest fires. In California, in Greece, in Italy, in many countries, including India, forest fires have become very common because of average increase in global temperature. Similarly, there was a fire accident last year in Hawaii Islands. The picture is given at the lower part. Now, the issue is the climate change is natural or anthropogenic. There are a lot of discussions and controversies on climate change, especially the global warming, amongst the scientists who propose, refute, and renew their findings and scientific inquiry progresses. There are a group of scientists who say that there is a global warming. There are a group of scientists who say no, there is no global warming. There are a group of scientists who are indifferent to these issues. But the problem is that in general, we are facing the global warming. And this global warming has been attributed to the carbon dioxide emissions, which are mainly coming from the burning of coal and fossil fuel. Nowadays, we have got the satellites in the space which can be used to monitor the temperature of the Earth independently. And from the analysis of past 100 years or 150 years, we have seen that apart from global warming, there have been some times where there was a global cooling also. There are times when global warming was very slow. There are times when global warming was very fast. Nowadays, it has been confirmed that the temperature is rising almost at the rate of 2 degrees centigrade per year. If you see this graph, 3 episodes of global warming are already recorded. Way back from 1850 to 1870, there was a global warming. From 1870 to 1910, there was a cooling. From 1910 to 1940, there was a warming. Then 1940 to 1960, there was an average temperature. And then again from 1970, the temperature is rising again and again. So if you can see the green line which I have put here, this is the event when the global warming was stopped and in fact global cooling started. Similarly, there was a very small time somewhere in 1993 to 1995 when there was a global cooling. Now, what are the factors which can change the climate? There can be some natural factors and there can be some anthropogenic factors. What could be the natural factors which can affect our temperature? The natural factor is the overall heat which we are getting is from sun. If something happens on sun which results into increase of solar energy, then of course heat on the earth will also increase. If something happens on the sun when the activity of solar reactions are slowed down, then there will be overall cooling, and that cooling will be affected on the earth also. The radiations which come on the earth, they come in the form of heat waves, which are short wave radiations, but when they hit the ground and when they go back, they becomes long wave radiation, and those long wave radiation are trapped by gases in the atmosphere, and mostly those gases which are called as greenhouse gases, for example, carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide. I have missed the numbers H2O, CO2, CH4, NO2 and SO2. The solar insolation has remains the same except some sun spot activity appear at every 11 years. So every 11 years, if there is a global warming, that can be ascribed to the solar activity. But the main cause of the heat which is trapped onto the earth is the presence of greenhouse gases in the lower atmosphere. And these greenhouse gases, they are very important for us because if we remove all the greenhouse gases, then the temperature of the earth will go down to minus 18 degrees centigrade. If we take the average temperature of the earth 15 degrees centigrade, if you remove all the greenhouse gases, then the temperature will go down by 33 degrees centigrade to minus 18 degrees centigrade. So the greenhouse gases are important for us. Nature has given these gases to us to protect us from the excessive heat, to protect us from the excessive cold. But the unnatural increase in the amount of these greenhouse gases will result into more trapment of heat, and that more trapment of heat is felt by us as a global warming. Venus, where we have 90% carbon dioxide, 97% carbon dioxide in atmosphere, the average temperature is 480 degrees centigrade. So carbon dioxide is actually a very important gas as far as the trapment of heat is concerned. This picture shows that how the sunlight comes onto the earth, how it is reflected, how it is absorbed, and then how it is trapped in greenhouse gas envelope, which we are calling heat blanket. Heat blanket. Now you know that Earth is rotating on its axis, which brings day and night for us. The Earth rotates on its axis, which is slightly tilted to 21 degree or 22.1 degree. This tilting angle, if it changes, then the whole climate belts and weather system will change. If there is a slightest change in the tilt of the Earth's axis along which it is rotating, this will result into change in the weather system along each latitude. The Earth's orbital motion is elliptical. It is affected by Sun and Moon combination, causing it to orbit in little bit of circular orbit at a time scale of 1 lakh years. As such, up to 1 lakh years, there is no change into that. But due to Indonesian earthquake in 2004 and earthquake in Japan in 2011, which resulted into tsunami waves generation in the Pacific Ocean, this had affected the Earth's tilt of axis, which was 22.1 and it has changed to 21.5. That means there is a little tilt, and if there is a little tilt, this must have had affected the overall temperature of these continents. This picture shows that from time to time we have solar activity on the sun's surface. Whenever there is a solar activity, solar flares are generated, solar storms are generated, resulting into excessive heating of the solar system, including the Earth. And even these solar flares, which results because of sunspot activity, they damage our magnetic field. We have a magnetosphere around the Earth, which is protecting us from ultraviolet radiation, and also it is acting as a blanket for all our communication system and communication waves. If we remove the magnetosphere, our communication, electronic communication will not be able to take place. So sunspot activity keep happening every 11 years. If you can see this picture, this is the picture of sunspot activity during daytime and night time. If this happens, then there is a chance of slightest increase in the average temperature. Again, come to the greenhouse gases, because this is the most important gases which are actually controlling the thermostat of the Earth. All the gases which we have in our atmosphere, they have come from the deeper part of the Earth, which we call mantle degassing. From the mantle, lava comes out in the form of volcanoes. When the volcanism takes place, it also brings with it a lot of gases. These gases go into the atmosphere. They are held back into the atmosphere by the force of gravitation of the Earth. and they have formed the they have formed the atmospheric layer for us, including nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and methane, and sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxide, and many. Now, these what you call greenhouse gases, they are actually natural. But if we add further into it, now the main source of these gases were volcanism. The volcanism with time has got reduced. The volcanoes are not adding that much of gases into our atmosphere as they used to in the earliest part of the Earth's history. The overall Earth's heat is being lost with time. Earth has its own heat because of lava inside the Earth. The Earth is actually losing its heat, and that's why the volcanic activity is becoming less and less, and they are not contributing to the greenhouse gases. Much more than the volcanoes, it is the human beings who are contributing to the increase in greenhouse gases by burning those material which were put back into the belly of the earth some 60, 100, 300, 400, 500 million years ago in the form of coal and oil. But now we are extracting them and we are burning them so that we are adding to the greenhouse gases. The Mauna Loa Observatory has shown that in 40 years, the carbon dioxide has increased by 20%. It has increased by the 20%. Now, whatever carbon dioxide increases in the atmosphere, the nature has made a system that these carbon dioxide will be used by plants, and whatever remains, it will be used by zooplanktons, which are microorganisms in the sea, and still whatever is left will be dissolved into the ocean water to convert carbon dioxide into calcium carbonate, and that calcium carbonate will become part of the shell, part of the shells of small organism, part of the bones of all the organisms, and also it will be converted to a rock called as limestone. But because ocean has to absorb very high amount of carbon dioxide, which is increasing in the atmosphere, the ocean has become acidic with the time, and ocean is not able to absorb that much of carbon dioxide as much it is supposed to dissolve. This is resulting into more acidification, and more acidification means less carbon dioxide dissolution into the seawater. Less carbon dioxide dissolution means more carbon dioxide available to greenhouse, and more availability to greenhouse of this carbon dioxide means more heat trappement and global warming. Why we fear global warming? There is one thing, that is, if there is an extra temperature, extra heat, extra warm, then we as a human beings will not be comfortable. That is one thing. But the most important thing is that because of global warming, it is feared that all the ice which we have in our polar region, the ice which we have at the top of mountains, they will start melting very fast. By research done by different scientists, it has been said that if you melt all the ice on the continent, the coastal areas will go under 9 meters of water. All the coastal cities, they will be drowned under 9 meters of water because of sea level rise. But what is important is that we don't have to wait for the ice melting for the global sea level rise. The sea level will rise simply because of warming without even melting of the ice. even if you forget about ice melting, the simple heating of the ocean water will increase the volume of sea. Why? Because when we heat up water, the volume of water increases. If you are heating water in utensil, as the temperature starts rising, the volume of water also starts rising. So the sea level rise may be mainly due to the heat of the land and ocean, excessive heat at the land and ocean surface. Ice melting भी अगर हो गई तो that will be the double whammy. That will be the double whammy. Now there is one important thing again more, that we have different weather zones depending upon our position in latitude and longitude. Depending upon the position of the countries in terms of latitude, from equator to tropics, then from tropics to temperate region, and then from temperate region to the polar region, depending upon where you are, you will have an average temperature. Now, if the place where we are living, if it is shifted from one place to another place, then automatically the climate and weather will change. Automatically the climate and weather will change. Now I am showing a video which is showing the split of the continent and movement of landmass from one place to another place. That means these continents and land masses, they are changing their position. If they change their position, their climatic system will also change. Now, can anybody tell me that what is this phenomenon is called? Can anybody tell me what this phenomenon is known as? Anyone? Can anyone tell me what this phenomenon is known as? No one? This is called as this actually all started with a theory called as continental drift theory given by Alfred Wegener from Germany in 1905 or 10. He said that it seems that different continents, they were one together, and then after some time they have got splitted and then they have moved away from each other. His theory was refuted, his theory was rejected in early 1920s. He died and his theory was almost got rejected. But in 1960s, again, scientists, when they were exploring the ocean surface, they were exploring the bed of the oceans and bed of the seas, they have again found the evidence of what Alfred Wegener said about continental drift. And this theory has now become a new theory which is called as theory of plate tectonics. In this theory, it has been proved that all the continents, they are moving from one place to another place at the rate of 5 to 10 centimeter per year even today. So if continents and countries are moving, the rates of their movement and directions of their movement is being given in this map. If they are moving, then definitely they will have change in their weather system. Most of the continents, they are moving at the rate of 5 to 10 centimeter per year. And this actually resulting into change in our latitudes and longitudes. The latitude and longitudes which have been drawn on the map, which we see, they are no more correct, because these latitude and longitudes were drawn some 150 years back. In 150 years, the continents have changed by at least 1 to 5 meters. The positions have changed from 1 to 5 meters. You see, the earth is revolving around the sun at the rate of 400 km per hour. The earth is rotating on its axis at the rate of 1600 km per hour. Similarly, continents are also shifting on the surface with a very, very slow rate of 5 to 10 to 20 centimeter per year. Similar to the rate with which our nails grow. You see, I have taken picture of my nails after giving vote in 2017. Every month, I have checked the growth of my nail by marking the ink which is present on my nail, and this shows that our nails have grown by 1 centimeter in a 3 or 4 months. So in the same way, the continents, they are also moving from one place to another place. If they are moving, there will be definitely some change in the weather system. But in last 1,000 years, the continents have moved by 5 to 10 meters perhaps. Apart from the direct data which have been recorded into different meteorological stations, the scientists have used data which they have got of temperatures from the travelers' diaries, farmers' diaries, old newspapers, diaries of ship captains, and they have all used this data to know the average temperature of the past 300 or 400 years. Similarly, the presence of huge rock blocks at some places of a rock which is not connected with the rock surrounding that area, called as erratics. These rocks which are present, they do not belong to this place. They have been brought to this place by glaciers. Now there is no glacier, but the rock is there. The rock has remained there because glaciers have left them some 2 lakhs years back, 1 lakh years back, when there was a global cooling called as Pleistocene glaciation. Called as Pleistocene glaciation, when almost all the continents, they were like a snowball. All the landmass was under ice, including India. That is known as Pleistocene glaciation. If you have seen Ice Age movie, that Ice Age movie is actually made for that very time, that is Himyug, that was called as Himyug, Pleistocene glaciation. So presence of such rocks are indication, indirect indication of presence of ice. Now if there is no ice left here, that means there is an average temperature increase. That's why ice has gone down, it has melted out, but the rock which it has brought, that is being left. I have my own picture of erratic. If you can see here in the bottommost part, if you can see, this is called erratic from Sonmark. There is another picture of a mountain top, of a hilltop at different years in the same month, which shows that the ice is getting reduced from 1912 to 2006. Scientists have studied isotopic composition of stalactites and stalagmites, which are the rock hangings. Which are the rock hangings in the caves. In the caves, there are some rocks which hang from the top due to the precipitation of calcium carbonate. And there are some rocks which grow from the bottom towards top. They are called as stalagmite. Scientists have studied stalactites and stalagmites, and from that study they have made out that from the study of stalactites and stalagmites, it seems that from last year 1500 to 2000, the overall temperature is increasing. Then scientists have studied the ice cores taken out from the glaciers, from the Antarctica, from the North Pole, and from different places in the world. They have collected almost 20 kilometers of the ice core from as deep as 3.6 kilometers from the Antarctica, and they have studied the gases trapped into these ice of the time when these ice was under formation. They have dated the ice, and they have worked out the chemical composition of the trapped gas, taken it to be the gas of atmosphere of that time, and they have studied the composition of the atmosphere and the effect of temperature range, and they have predicted that from 1600 to 1850 the temperature has remained almost same, and then from 1850 it is rising till 1900, then again dipping, then again rising, then again dipping, and again rising from the glacial record. They have also studied the tree rings. They have cut the stem. In stem, you will find the rings. There are some light rings and some alternate dark rings. Indicate dark ring indicate the winters, and the light wind they indicate the summer. One light and one dark means 1 year. Now scientists have taken the carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and they have studied their isotopes, and they have linked those isotopes with the overall temperature, and they have found that there is continuous rise in the temperature except a little ice age from 1800 to 1825, which got reflected into the study of these tree rings. So these are all proxy evidences. These are indirect evidences. From all the studies, if we put the data together, what has been found that from last 800 years to present, the percentage of CH4 and CO2 has kept increasing and decreasing, but on average they have remained same. They have remained a straight line, but in last 50 years, if you see, they have risen straightly upward in a vertical fashion. The concentration of carbon dioxide has increased from 280 per part million to 550 per part million. That is, we have added 26 to 50 billion tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere every year. So this much of carbon dioxide is definitely going to increase the global temperature. This picture I have taken from newspaper, which is just came last 15 days back. I have forgot to put the date. This shows that the temperature has risen by 1.6 degree due to increase in carbon dioxide, CH4 and nitrogen oxide. A very famous paper was written by Mac Kittrick from Canada in 2003. He also analyzed the data coming from different sources. He made reconstructions and then he plotted them. He has shown that how the things are going and decreasing, and ultimately in last 50 years, the rise is almost vertical, just like a hockey stick, and his paper is famous as a hockey stick paper. If you can see that in the last part, the rise is just like a hockey stick. So scientists have proved that global warming is there, and this global warming is not much because of natural causes, rather it is because of man-made causes or anthropogenic causes. ये सूरज की साजिश नहीं है. The heat which we are facing today, ये सूरज की साजिश नहीं है, खुद जमी सेक रहे हैं हम. This is not the handiwork of sun, but it is we who are warming the globe. Why we are fearing climate change? Why we are fearing climate change? There are some obvious reasons and there are some less obvious reasons. There are some direct onslaught and there are some indirect onslaught. The direct onslaught is global warming, melting of ice, more runoff, loss of sweet water, increased desertification, more humidity, severe weather condition, sea level rise, and one positive thing is increase in agriculture produce due to high presence of greenhouse gases. Botany and agriculture people, horticultural people, they make greenhouses of glass and nowadays of plastic to trap carbon dioxide and heat so that plants can take benefit and grow fast. But now we have made the whole earth a greenhouse, and that's why there may be faster growth of vegetation. The indirect effect is local to regional migrations of human beings, increase in certain diseases. Thermohaline conveyor means sea currents will get altered, result into formation of phenomenon like La Nina and El Nino, which will affect our weather system, change in the agriculture pattern, crop failure, animal migration, ecological imbalances, and crop losses due to the extreme weather. So whatever we gain by producing more agricultural produce due to high carbon dioxide in atmosphere, we lose more than that because of the freak weather created by that global carbon dioxide and warming. Climate history wants us to limit warming to 2 degrees centigrade. Humans may not be able to adopt beyond that. 7th July 24 newspaper cutting. Climate history wants us to limit warming to 2 degrees centigrade. Humans may not be able to adopt beyond that. Because the warming is going to create lot of problems, somewhere extreme cold, somewhere extreme heat, somewhere extreme rain, somewhere extreme drought, somewhere extreme cyclone, and so on and so forth. In different big cities, metropolitan cities, even the heat has become so much that the ACs have stopped working. ACs have stopped working. People living in the multi-story buildings, 100-story buildings and all those, they had to come out of their houses and live on the road and parks and on the beaches because their air conditions have failed. So this global warming has indirect effect in form of freak and extreme weather conditions. 60% of US population under heat advisory or flash flood warning. Himachal Pradesh, last year there was a lot of havoc because of flash floods. This year also. And this year what we have seen in Wayanad, more than 400 people have died. This is the biggest landslide of India in last 100 years. Biggest landslide. And that too not on a slope which was very dangerous, precarious slope. It was a gentle slope. People living in Himalayas, they are living in much more precarious condition. But not those people who in Wayanad. But it is because of excessive rain that has resulted into failure of the ground. Even in our own cities, like I am sitting in Aligarh, we face flooding in the urban regions. Thodi barish badi musibat. A little rain, if we have little rain for an hour or 2 hours, then everything will be flooded. Everything will be flooded. Dubai, very beautiful, very serene, very clean. I have been to Dubai in the month of January. But in the month of March, they had very heavy rainfall, extreme rainfall condition developed there. And that resulted into flooding of the whole Dubai. And this flooding is known as biblical flooding. Biblical flooding in Dubai. What is biblical flooding? Can anybody answer in the message? What is biblical flooding? What do we mean by biblical flooding? If anybody can answer in message, what is biblical? What do we mean by biblical flooding? And then I have put some more news cutting. Chaos in Dubai after okay. You must have heard of Tufan-e-Nuh, Noah's Ark, Noah's flood, which has found mention in Bible and Quran. We had a very huge flooding at that time. So the flooding in Dubai was compared with the flooding which has taken place at the Noah's time. एक नूह ही नहीं जो हमें कश्ती में बिठा ले, वरना आसार तो मौजूद हैं तूफान के सारे. We are getting flooding of equal dimension at one place, and at the same time on other place we have fire, forest fire. If you have been glued to the newspaper and TV or social media, this year we had lot of forest fire in Uttarakhand. Even it has threatened the Nainital, the city of Nainital. The military base at the Nainital was in the arm of the fire. In the same time, 2-hour rain in Telangana has led to the death of 20 people. See, 9/5, 20 people dying because of flood in Telangana, and in the same time in Uttarakhand we have a forest fire. This is called extreme weather and freak weather. Now to check all these, what we are trying to do, what we are doing. If there is a global warming, if there is a pollution, if there is a threat to our environment, then what we are doing? We have started discussing the issue at the highest level, in which topmost scientists of the world started coming together way back from 1972 till yesteryears to discuss the issue. And many of these conferences, they were attended by the head of the states. I have listed some of the international conferences which have taken place to save Earth, starting from saving ozone layer to curbing the carbon dioxide emission. I have listed some of these conferences. I have left from 1972. I am mentioning 1972. Then after that, 1987 onward, I have listed the important conferences which have been held. Out of this, for example, Kyoto Protocol is very famous. Kyoto Protocol, Kyoto Climate Conference 1997 is very famous because at that time the head of the states have signed Kyoto Protocol, but still that protocol has not been implemented. So it has started way back in 1972. Still we are having lot of conferences. We had in 11, we had in 12, we had in 13, we had in 16, we had in 17, 3 conferences in 17, then we had in 18, we had in 19. Every year we are coming together and trying to discuss the issue. But the problem is that still we are discussing and discussing and discussing and not solving the issue. We are speaking, we are writing, we are discussing, we are creating deafening noises, but the outcomes are still muted. No outcome yet. No real advancement to curb the global warming has taken place. Still everything is on the form of statements. We are hiding like ostrich. We are thinking that if we put our head below sand, we will be saved, but that is not the case. Time is running out. Time is running out. We had climate conference in 2023 in UAE, and in 2024 they have faced the biblical flooding, and what they have decided they have just decided that we will curb the use of fossil fuel. We will begin to end the use of fossil fuel. Just they will begin. In 2024, in Azerbaijan, the climate conference has taken place. Next is going to be in perhaps Brazil. But the problem is that why we have not been able to come on same platform is because we are still running behind industrialization. We are trying to be more and more industrialized so that our economy can become better. And to go for better economy, we are trying to have more and more industrialization. And more industrialization is going to put more and more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So ultimately, we are not going to get any result. China and India, with the maximum population and the fastest growing economy, they have said that after 2030 or 35, we will try to start thinking that what to do to put the brake on the carbon dioxide emission. They will start thinking after 2030 to 35 because they are saying that we want to be developed. So today there is a fight between restricting the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees centigrade, and in no case the global warming should go up to 2 degrees centigrade. So the fight is between 1.5 to 2 degrees centigrade, because this half degree difference is going to have a very profound effect as far as extinction of plant and animal life is concerned, extinction and life of coral reefs are concerned, sea level rise is concerned, crop yield is concerned. This half degree difference is a very important as far as its effect is going to be there on sea ice, on extreme heat condition, and on water scarcity. So this is the issue of climate change. Now, apart from climate change, in climate change, what we are facing only heat. But what else is there which is a bigger problem? The bigger problem is pollution, air pollution and water pollution, which we take into our body every second. The breathing which we are doing, are we breathing good air? Are we breathing the polluted air? So if we are breathing the polluted air, so our body metabolism will be affected. Our lungs will be affected. So what is the bigger issue? The long-term change in the global average temperature, or the pollution in the air and the pollution in the water? I am calling pollution in air and water a human-induced environmental disorder. Climate disorders are there, but for me, the bigger issue is environmental disorder. The newspaper cutting from Urdu newspaper, which I have put here, says in India, because of air pollution, 464 kids are dying every year. In year 2021, every day, 4,064 persons are dying every day. Just imagine. In year 2021, in India, 1,69,400 people have died because of air pollution. Pollution in our environment. This is a report of Lancet. So with pollution, the environmental disorder and degradation we are creating is leading to development of newer and newer diseases. Newer and newer diseases. You must have heard of Zika, Ebola, dengue, cancer, flu, diabetes, corona, etc., etc. Why it is happening? Why it is happening? Because of polluted atmosphere and polluted drinking water. The cities around big metropolitan cities, the cities around Delhi, the NCR region, the cities around Bombay, the cities around Bangalore, the cities around Madras, they are all heavily polluted. Death by breath. We are dying because of the bad breath we are taking from the atmosphere. In Delhi, when they started CNG, there was a little bit of improvement in the air condition, in the air pollution. Air quality index has little bit improved when we shifted from diesel, petrol to CNG. But again, the pollution have started rising. Why? Because the number of vehicles have risen in leaps and bounds due to the loan economy. You can buy vehicle if you are able to pay the loans. The bank you will provide loans to you. So this is a bigger issue. For example, I am showing you a newspaper cutting in which they have listed 10 top selling drugs in 2016. 10 top selling drugs. Out of this 10 top selling drugs, 5 are of diabetes. Why India has become diabetes capital? Why India has become diabetes capital? Why India has become diabetes capital? What could be the reason? Is it adulterated food? Is it environmental pollution? Is it polluted water? What is the cause? Why every 3% is diabetic? So actually we are putting lot of stresses by our own follies, anthropogenic stresses, and earth is responding by some kind of deformation, some kind of strain, some kind of strain release, population growth, waste generation and disposal, indiscriminate resource exploitation, energy demand and carbon footprint, infrastructure development. All these are putting lot of stresses, and this is resulting into irregular food production and distribution, air, land and water pollution, land degradation, climate change, ecosystem loss and biodiversity. One of the big problem is waste disposal. It's a very big problem what to do with the waste which we are generating on the daily basis. Where to put this waste? Where to bring this waste? We don't have that much of land. We have started Swachh Bharat Abhiyan so that we can inculcate the importance of cleanliness to everybody in the country. But the problem is that my cleaning is going to de-clean the other place. Whatever cleaning, whatever Swachhata I am doing at my place, it is going to do harm to other place wherever I am going to put back my garbage. So this is something very important. India is putting 60,000 crore rupees per year through Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, but still if you see your surrounding in your district, in your city, in your village, you will find garbage heap everywhere. The problem of open defecation. The problem of open defecation. We have 48% of our population is going for open defecation. Higher than Afghanistan, Congo and Brunei and even Bangladesh. And this open defecation leads to malnourishment. It leads to malnutrition. We need to have more and more toilets. And toilets not just for the namesake. For a good toilet, we need to have a water for flushing. And we are already in the crisis of water. There is not much free water. And if you are making toilet and not using the flushing system, then your toilet is of no use. The English system of toiletry is of no use. So we are actually in a catch-22 position. We have been caught in a vicious circle. We have created mountains of garbage. For example, this landfill site in Delhi known as Ghazipur landfill site, which has failed and slided and resulted into death of 2 or 3 persons. We have created the mountain of hill of garbage. In Delhi, we have Ghazipur, we have one in Okhla, we have one in Bhasawar. And in the same way, in all over India, we have almost 500 landfill sites which are waiting to be closed. Means they need to be capped by earth so that we can grow some plant and forest, and we should cap it, close it. But we are not finding any extra space for new site of garbage dump. This is the biggest problem. And what is happening as far as garbage creation is concerned, from year 2000 to year 2015, in Delhi, the production of waste has increased from 400 metric ton to 8,700 metric ton. That is 2,075%. Just imagine, in 15 years, the garbage has increased by 2,075%. What kind of garbage we are producing? We have to think ourselves that what kind of garbage we are producing and what amount of garbage we are producing. Bengaluru 1,750%. Hyderabad 1,055%. Mumbai 105%. Chennai 60%. Ahmedabad 48%. The minimum increase is in Calcutta only, that is 8.3%. Why it is so? What is the cause? Now we are taking garbage from one city and dumping to other city. Should Meerut suffer to keep Ghaziabad clean? Disease caused by Meerut waste ground claims 22 lives. So this is another major issue of waste disposal. Why we are creating so much of waste? Why we are polluting? Are we thinking that we are a polluter? Do we give ever a thought to ourselves that what we are producing? Are we a filthy nation? जूही चावला ने उठाया काठमांडू में प्रदूषण का मुद्दा. जूही चावला ने काठमांडू के पॉल्यूशन के बारे में बात की. इंडिया में इनको पॉल्यूशन नजर नहीं आया. What we are doing ourselves, that is the issue. India Today has published in 1993 a cover story, Can we clean the mess? 1993. And again, after 14 plus 7, 20 years, again they had to publish in October 2014, Dirty Nation. The world's wonder, one of the 7 wonders, Taj Mahal, and see the background of the Taj Mahal, full of filth. Bad air linked to diabetes. India at greater risk. So the air pollution is something very dangerous. And what we are doing to curb air pollution, we have put monitors on every crossroad, and it is telling us what is the air quality index. We read it, and then what we do? Just by knowing what we are doing, are we acting as an individual or as a society? We are burning parali in Punjab and Haryana. And people in Delhi are crying that Punjab and Haryana farmers, they are burning parali. And this is creating pollution. But the people in Punjab and Haryana, they will be the first to face the pollution. And see this person who is taking his kids to school under the wrap of a blanket. What we are doing? We are trying to create doom and then make boom. We are trying to make air purifiers for houses, and we have made air purifiers for crossroads. In Delhi, in Ahmedabad, in Chandigarh, and in many places, we have made smoke towers to clean air. That means we are trying to make money from the pollution. So the garbage is collector's item. We should think before throwing anything that should we keep it with us for a longer time and give to the person who used to buy the waste, plastic waste or steel waste or iron waste or whatever, or should we just put it into the garbage and get free ourselves? The consumerism has increased the garbage production. Mom, you need more feet, not more shoes. Looks like you need more feet, not more shoes. Nowadays, we have 3, 4, or 5 pairs of shoes. We are polluting our drinking water also. Not only air, but also we are polluting our drinking water, fresh water, which is only 2.5% of all the waters. 97.5% of the water is saline water and is of no use of direct consumption. Only 2.5% of the water is for direct consumption, and that too, of this 2.5%, 30% is under the ground, 68% is in the form of ice, 0.26% in the lake, 0.04% in the atmosphere, which we get in the form of rain, and 0.03% in the river. The water in the lake and river is of no use because they are already polluted. We are heavily relying on the groundwater, and groundwater level is going down and down because of excessive use of water. We keep on irrigating our lawns in our colleges and in our universities by putting tube wells, not by using this sprinkler. We are wasting a lot of water. And water is a very limited resource. You cannot think of spending water blindly. Even if you are irrigating your plants, think that which kind of water you are using. It is very easy to get water if you have money. You can buy a bottle of water from the market. But think that this bottle of water is created by wasting water thrice the volume which you are getting as a bottled water. The 3 times of this volume of water is being wasted, and 1 time is being cleaned and supplied through the bottles. So using bottled waters is something not good. Do not waste water even if you are at a running stream. This is a hadith of Prophet Muhammad, saying of Prophet Muhammad, that even if you are standing on a river, you are not allowed to waste the water. We have to recycle the water. This is the system in our university where we are recycling water. See how much water is getting wasted at our house by washing utensils and by washing clothes through these machines. Are we aware of the water we are? See, this is the RO system. Lot of drain water is wasted. This is my own house. I am showing picture of my own house. I used to collect all these waters, which is coming out of drain pipe. And I am using it for bathing, I am using it for flushing, I am using it for washing, I am using it mostly for planting, for irrigating the plants. And when we pollute air, when we pollute water, when we pollute ground, when we generate excessive waste, we are indirectly harming the biodiversity. And biodiversity is something very important for the life to survive, because each life form is linked with each other. Each life form is linked with each other. If the biodiversity is lost, then in future many things will be lost. And maximum loss of biodiversity is by cutting the virgin forest, virgin grassland, virgin bushland. The maximum loss of biodiversity in that form. Already we have lost many life forms. Already we have lost many life forms. We as a human beings have the responsibility to save them, because we are best suited to adopt and to control and to live on this earth. So the responsibility lies with us. The responsibility lies with us. What we can do, what will be the solution, from where the solution will come, from where the solution will come. We observe these days to emphasize on the importance of nature, on the importance of environment, on the importance of forest, on the importance of water, on the importance of weather, on the importance of earth, on the importance of biodiversity, on the importance of nature, on the importance of population, on the importance of ozone, habitat, disaster, etc., etc., and so on and so forth. But we are not supposed to observe these things on one day. We have to continue the things for whole year, for whole of our life. This is not a one-day phenomenon. What we can do, how can we save ourselves? Predicting the weather to taming it. It is very easy to say. The Minister Kiran Rijiju says that we will tame the weather. We will predict the weather and we will tame the weather. Are they able to tame? Are they able to predict? इस ग्लोबल वार्मिंग के दौर में जब हमें नहीं पता कि कल करना क्या है, तो मौसम विभाग वालों को कहां से पता चलेगा? The clouds are saying to each other that even we are not decided that what is going to happen with us. How can the weather people can predict? There are some individual names, there are some individual people who are crying and trying for improving our weather system. They are trying and crying, and one of the famous name is Greta Thunberg from Sweden. When she was in class 8th, 9th and 10th, she started a strike in Sweden. On every Friday, the school used to go on strike so that people are aware of the issue of this climate change. So it is the kids, because it is their future which is at the stake. It is their future which is at the stake. So they are more worried. But there are many individual people who are trying to do something very astonishing, something very peculiar, so that they can get the attention of the government. Okay, what we have to do to save this climate and save the earth? I will take only 5 minutes more and then I will finish. CSR scientists have said that on Mondays we will come in clothing which is not ironed. Scientists ring in wrinkled Mondays, that we will wear the clothes, but those clothes which are not ironed, because we will save electricity. David Buckle, who was senator in the United States, he has burned himself and he died. He burned himself by putting oil onto him and letting the match stick and saying that if we don't stop using fossil fuel, the whole world will die as I am dying by lighting fire to himself. There are many industries who are putting a lot of money. There are many industries who are putting a lot of money to save climate. We are in a big way, we are going for solar electricity, for wind electricity, to save on coal, burning of coal, so that we can save on carbon dioxide. This is a solar panel at our university. We have a very big solar plant, land-mounted solar plant, biggest in any university in India. And we also have roof-mounted solar plant to have electricity not from the coal but from the. Another very important thing that we have forgotten to use cycle. We have forgotten to use cycle. We are using cars and motorcycle very commonly for our daily use, but we have lost these cycles. These are the graveyard of the cycle left by the laborers in Saharanpur when they fled Haryana and Punjab during COVID. From Saharanpur they went by train, up to Saharanpur they came by cycle, and they have dumped their cycle in lakhs of numbers, and now they are all getting wasted. In Copenhagen, the Danish capital, with 6 lakh population, they have got 6,50,000 cycle. Anybody can use any cycle and can go anywhere, no use of vehicles. We have to save paper, we have to save forest. If you have to save forest, you have to save papers. We as a teaching community, we have a very big responsibility. This year in IPL match, for each dot ball, the IPL has committed that they will plant 500 trees. So if you can see the two pictures, the dot ball has been changed to the trees. So there are a lot of initiative, but many of the initiative remains on the paper. They remains on social media only. They do not come onto the ground. They do not come onto the ground. So actually it is we who have to take responsibility of saving the planet. Local laparwahi, global warming. Just 2 days back, I got this cartoon in Hindi newspaper. Local laparwahi, global warming, and because of global warming, this year in this summer, some of our crossroads have been given shade by plastic sheet. This was very first time. This was very first time that they had to put shades so that people can get respite from the sunlight. The problem is that we have to save this planet. We are ruining this planet. We are ruining this planet. We are for this planet. We have been given this planet as a home, but we are ruining our home. We are ruining our planet. Already we have gone into 5 extinctions. 5 times life have got vanished because of climate change. 5 times life has got vanished in last 500 million years. 5 times life have got vanished, but all by natural reasons. But we are going for 6th extinction, which has already started as per Elizabeth Colbert, which has already started. And this extinction is caused by human beings, not only for themselves, but they are going to extinct themselves as well as all the animal lives. So the 6th extinction is there. People have started writing book how to survive in the coming years and coming days because of global warming. global warming is being linked to each and everything. The Dennis mom is asking, how do you explain your bad behavior? The Dennis is giving answer that climate change. So what to do? How to cool the planet? How to cool the planet? That is the biggest issue. Last three slides, please bear with me. Can anybody tell me by voice that what is there? What you can see in this picture? Can anybody tell? What they are showing in this picture? What does this mean? This is a picture I have taken at Fortis Hospital, Delhi.
लंग्स को डिस्क्राइब कर रहा है सर ये
हैं?
लंग्स को डिस्क्राइब कर रहा है
हाँ, लंग्स को डिस्क्राइब कर रहा है. क्या कहना चाह रहा है? What he is trying to say? This picture, इसका क्या, इस पिक्चर का क्या सेंस है? Green your planet, green your surroundings by putting plants. But the same hospital has got plastic plants planted in the inner part. Are we going to get anything out of this plastic plant? So on one side of the hospital, they are painting that green. Go for afforestation, and on the other side they are putting plastic plants. So this is called paradox. Green Aligarh, clean Aligarh. See here. This is our Aligarh Smart City Commissioner's house. This is our Smart City Aligarh Commissioner house, where he has draped the wall with plastic grass. These are the plastic artificial grass. And the slogan is Green Aligarh, Clean Aligarh. If we put green plastic grass all over the world, will we be able to solve the problem? See the trees. Again, I will ask a small question. Which tree it is? Can anybody identify the tree? Ashok. What is the size, original size of the Ashok?
2036.
These are chopped trees.
So is it good? If
No.
we plant tree and if we keep on chopping it, what we are doing with the tree? Are we not abusing the tree? Are the stems of the tree are going to give you oxygen? It is the leaf which will give you oxygen. So see, in 2020, I have taken this picture from my electronics department, and in 2022, 2 of these trees have got dried. If you can see this picture also, the pre-COVID picture of a tree in which all the leaves are torn. Can you see? All the leaves are torn by the pedestrians who are walking along the road. They have snatched the leaves. But the same tree in the COVID time, when nobody was allowed to move, lockdown was there, the same tree has grown fresh and clean and beautiful leaves. See, this is the road which goes to my department. Sorry. See here. The footpath was taken over by the bushes on its own. Means if we allow the vegetation, if we allow the forest, then they will actually regain their size and shape, and they will help us out. Jaan hai to jahan hai. This is a very famous proverb. Jaan hai to jahan hai. But one of our alumnus who was an IAS officer, Rajan Habib Khaja, and Secretary Ministry of Environment, he came here and he gave lecture and he said that jahan hai to jahan. We have to protect our jahan, that is our world also. घर के गुलदानों में शाहिद फूल होंगे कागजी एंड और पर्दों पर प्रिंटेड तितलियां रह जाएंगी. We are not to have plastic flowers and paper flowers. and butterflies on printed on our curtains. We have to real butterfly. We have to have real plants. That's all from my side. The last picture I am showing you of our founder of this university, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who was lampooned by the journalist of that time. In 1881, he was he was called as Naturey Jogi, a sadhu of nature. Naturey Jogi. If you can see cactus behind him playing with the snakes, snakes are moving around him. He was very fond of nature. And the cartoonists at that time, they have lampooned him. But he had a vision. The issue which we are thinking today, he thought of those issues some 200 years back. That's all from my side. Thank you for bearing with me. I have taken some 10 minutes more. If you have any query, you can write your suggestions in the message box. And if you have any query, please let me know. Thank you. Any query from anyone? Any suggestion? Write down in the message or speak out. Shaki Saab, are you there? If no question, then you can leave now. Once you leave all, then I will leave.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
हाँ बोलो क्या करना है ये लोग तैयार है दोनों बच्चे हाँ हमने तो दो पूरी ही कहा था अब्दुल्ला की तरफ छोड़ा है पूछो किधर है किधर आना चाहती है अभी बता देता हूँ लो बेटा पहन हाँ चलो तो अपी का कॉल आ रहा है तो कहाँ आ रही है अपी कॉल अच्छा ये कौन है असनई को तो कॉल करूंगा मैं जो भाई निकल वाले, चलो बेटा पहनो कुछ, दीपा पहनो पहनो। किसके पहना? नहीं तो अस्फा खालू क्या ये लोग जाए? नहीं अस्फा खालू क्या हमारे साथ जाएंगी? हाँ यूसुफ तो ले जा रहे हैं। हम्म। कैसे कदम किया? अच्छा। कौन? तुमने टॉप्स पहन लिया? अभी स्केटिंग के लिए अभी सिंगल पॉइंट। तुम चली जाना अब तो यार।
अरे इनका भी हुआ है कि कपड़े इनके चढ़े इनके भी बहुत ज्यादा है ना। अब सारे कपड़े प्रेस कर दो, कल दोपहर में मंगाओ, बाल भी कटवा दो, इनके भी अच्छा ये कर दीजिएगा जरा सा। सही
ले चलेंगे हम, कल करवा देंगे।
सादा बहुत जल्दी है।
हाँ गुस्सा आता है। यूसुफ अगर
अरे मुंडू ये हंस के गुस्सा आता है ये। अभी झाड़ भी नहीं है, बस ऊपर पर से ऐसे ग्रामर तुम भी फोन कर दो प्लीज प्लीज। देखो यूसुफ कितना कहना मानता है। देखो जल्दी फोन करो, बहुत अच्छा
ठीक है भाई।
शॉपिंग हो गई।
अब स्ट्रीट फूड खा लेती हूँ ऐसा नहीं क्या? हाँ लेकिन तो फायदे के खाने जाएंगे।
अच्छी बनाओ, ऐसी बनाओ।
उसके बाद जाने नहीं आ
So, what kind of street food you like? What kind of street food you like? Hygienic? What do you mean by hygienic? Is there any definition of hygienic? Eh? No bacteria food? You see, if there is no bacteria, then there is no food. For example, curd. There is bacteria, isn't it? Mayonnaise is bacteria, milk is bacteria.
Start giving me lectures. Please don't start giving me lectures.
हाँ, क्या करना है आप
मैं
बताएं।
रोटी अपने हिसाब से बनाना चाहता हूँ।
नहीं नहीं, स्ट्रीट फूड में क्या, रोटी तुम बनवा के रखो।
स्लैब रोटी
एक्सपोज नहीं करना, एक्सपोज नहीं करना।
कोई नहीं करता।
चलो आ जाओ। उधर कोई काम तुम भी कर लो यार। अरे यार तुम यहाँ तो हो लो। हैं? बंद कर लो। पड़ी। हाय। और
का कॉल नहीं लग रहा है, कॉल नहीं कर रही है
हाँ
क्योंकि वो सड़क पे होगी।
What is this? Cow or buffalo? You know difference between cow and buffalo? Huh? What? Buffalo. Huh? How? I dog. What is that? Dog incident? अच्छा. हाँ. हाँ, you are. हाँ. हाँ. Okay.
So that there was some incident. People going back up after going back down. Not something if that
inside the ocean.
No, the nitrogen in your body
Oh.
when it's in low pressure, it turns into gases.
Okay. The body nitrogen has changed to gas.
Yeah, it rapidly turns into gases.
अरे फूल तेरी याद सा हाँ, ये रहते हैं क्या वो होता है